Hello everybody, welcome back to Arthenex Plays Sunless Sea. So, I finished my great grinding. I'm ready to purchase my new ship. As you can see, I managed to accumulate 17,416 credits, which is enough to buy either of the two ships I was interested in, the frigate or the cargo ship. So there's a few things that I should go over before we do that. So it wasn't possible to get that much money without something happening, and sure enough, something did. A lot of the time that I spent, a lot of the money that I made came from turning in vital intelligence in London that I had collected mainly from my spy network in the colony. So if I go to my objectives, you can see that I have, it's called Port Carnelian. So I have a spy network in Port Carnelian, which netted me a lot of vital intelligence. Well, I turned it into the diplomat because she paid more, and I was willing to suffer the consequences, and there were consequences. So both London's supremacy and the Dawn Machine supremacy were raised by that, and they both reached maximum supremacy at the same time, and as a result, the Dark Spectacled Admiral got kicked out of London. So the only way I can turn in port reports now is to go to the Admiralty Survey Office and just turn in port reports. So everything else that the Admiral did is gone, and I can no longer get specific missions to go and get strategic information at all. However, the diplomat is still here, so I can still turn in strategic vital intelligence, and since I can turn strategic information into vital intelligence, strategic information still has a purpose. But the Admiral is gone. Yeah. So there's a couple other things that happened, but I'll just kind of bring you up to speed as we encounter them. One other thing I should tell you right at the beginning, though, is that I went ahead and hired the rest of the crewmen that I saw as they became available in London. And two of the ones I hired had stories that just kind of started happening right away. So one of them was the Indomitable, or was the... what was her name? I kind of forget. The surgeon. When she came on board, she was sick, so I had to cure her. And I didn't have to go anywhere new for that. I just had to go around and pick up a bunch of stuff from a bunch of different places where I'd already been. And I was able to cure her. The other one is... let's see, I picked him up, and... Right, so let's see. So for him, so this will entertain the crew and remove terror. I kind of forget what his story is now. See, I don't know if I have an objective relating to him. If I do, I kind of forget it. But anyway, so I picked him up. But the other one that, of course, was vitally important was the Presbyteriite Adventuress. She has assassins chasing after her. Apparently, she's lived too long. Her people are only allowed to live 100 years, I think, or maybe it's no, they're only allowed to live 1,000 years, and her father lived 1,050. And so now she kind of had to make up for that. And so now she has assassins chasing after her, and they've already attacked the ship once. And I beat them off with a couple of very lucky rolls, but they may come after her again. So we might have to figure out where those assassins are coming from. So anyway, that brings us to the ship. So I did a little bit of checking. I know I said I wasn't going to look at wikis or anything, but for a decision as important as this, I thought I would take a little bit of a look. And it turns out that they have not implemented weight yet. Weight as a stat has no meaning whatsoever. And so your basic engine will move you just as fast no matter what ship you buy. So weight is right now completely meaningless. So that makes the comparison a lot simpler. The cruiser has 150 less hull, 50 more cargo space, 5 more crew, which is actually a bad thing. They both have a -5 veil penalty. The cargo ship gives you 5 hearts. The frigate gives you 5 iron and mirrors. And the cargo ship does not have a forward slot, whereas the frigate has all 6 slots. So is a forward slot, 150 more hull, and 5 less crew, and 5 better stats bonus, worth 50 less cargo space, is the question, because again the weight is meaningless. And the answer is certainly, and of course also 7,000 more echoes. The answer of course is certainly no, but I'm going to buy the frigate anyway because I've had enough of cargo ships. I'm ready for a warship, so I'm just going to live with the 50 less cargo, and we'll see what we can do. So we're going to go ahead and get the frigate. So we have to give our ship a name, and I'm going to call it the Enigma, because that is both our goal and our situation. We really have no idea what's going on, but we're looking for enigmas, searing enigmas, in fact. So we should look for them in the ship that's as mysterious as our goal. That's my philosophy on it, anyway. So we've got a new ship. Now we have to figure out. So we're not going to replace the engine. Eventually, the magician might allow me to unlock a better, like super efficient engine, and which I probably would get. But I'm not going to replace the engine right now. So the only question is, do we want to add any more weapons? We got 3,000 echo left, which is not a ton. But so it turns out. That seems quite useful, actually. So it turns out, first of all, we got to talk about crew. So we need to have at least half of our crew spots filled, or our ship won't go as fast. But our crew eats rations. And the more we have aboard, the more supplies we need. So we want the minimum number of crew necessary, with a couple of extra in case some of them die. We don't get stuck at half speed. So let's go to London. And let's hire on more crew. We have a 100% chance of success now because our hearts is significantly better than it used to be. So we spend 30 echo for 3 crew there. Keep going. 12. 14. Let's do one more. Alright, 16. Okay, so we need 13. So now we can lose 3 and still move at full speed. And honestly, if we figure out a place where we can get this, I probably would do it. Let's see, they go into the auxiliary spot though. So that means we couldn't put anything else in the auxiliary spot. We don't have anything in the auxiliary spot now. No. We just have the bridge. So let's take a look at some things that we could get. So this is quicker repairs. This is +3 veils, +1 suppression. Ensures that the engine never explodes at full power. I don't think it does that anyway. And then these are... Oh, this is an engine. 3,500. So this is a forward weapon. So we are in the market for a forward weapon because we don't have one. This one is hull damage 18, life damage 28, crew damage 3. So these do more crew damage. This is a deck weapon, 18, 18, crew damage 2. Our current deck weapon does 12, 12, crew damage 1. So that was a little bit better. for 1,500. This is a forward weapon. Hull damage 32. Okay, so this relies on torpedo attacks. There's 32, life damage 22, crew damage 2, stagger amount 8 seconds. Stagger amount. I don't know what that does. It sounds good, but of course we would have to purchase torpedo components, which I believe take up a hull. Oh no, they don't take up a hull space. But I'm not sure we want to buy torpedo ammunition, since I don't really want to have to start counting our shots. We have torpedo nets, and I don't think that's going to be an issue, hopefully. We have... Alright, so that's that. Now what do we have over here? We have... let's see, which one do we already have again? We have the Reproach. So we have this one. So this one we can buy. It's pretty cheap. Permits torpedo attacks. This is a flensing weapon. This is an aft weapon. The Majesty is the only front-mounted pure cannon, which is, I think, what I want. 22, 22. There's 2 more, 5, 4. Yeah, I think this is what I want. Cleansing attacks. So this is a deck weapon that was worse than what we already had. And this is an aft weapon. Right, so can we get an upgrade to our deck weapon? We can. This is a upgrade to our deck weapon because it's 1818, and this is 1515, and our deck weapon is 1212. So this is 500. And this is 2424. Is this a torpedo weapon? It has a stagger. I guess this has a stagger as well. Well, I think what we'll do is we'll buy the cannon, which was where was it? This one. So we'll buy this for 400. Stagger amount 2 seconds. Yeah. So we'll buy that for 400. And then maybe we'll buy this for 600. It's significantly cheaper than this. It's less than half the price. And this is 2828, stagger time 8 seconds. This is 2424, stagger time 8 seconds. So it's less than half the price and it's almost as good. So we'll go ahead and buy this as well. And we will equip that to our forward slot and that to our aft slot. Alright, so now we've got a full set of weapons, and we'll save this for the miscellaneous crew if we can find them. Alright, so we shouldn't need any more fuel consumption, but we are going to need a lot more supplies than we usually do. One of the things that I have been doing for my regular runs is that I've figured out that every time you kill an enemy, it reduces your terror. So what I had been doing was going to the funging station, and you can, at the funging station, you can search for supplies. You have a 50-50 chance, a little bit better than a 50-50 chance of success every time. And if you fail, it increases your terror. So I would just search for supplies until I couldn't anymore at 50 terror, do my run, and then there's always those really easy monsters around here that you can kill that don't upgrade your terror basically at all. So, or that don't, sorry, not that don't upgrade your terror, that downgrade your terror, and they're not any danger to you. So I would hunt them until I got my terror down to below 50, so when I got back to London, I wouldn't get any nightmare strength. And it was so effective that I've actually eliminated the nightmare. But now, I don't think I want to do that, because I think I'm going to be going on another exploration voyage. I got lots of different places I could go to, but I think I definitely want to hit Khan's heart, for sure. Supposedly there's another port over here, Khan's Shadow or something. Fernando was telling me about it. So I definitely want to head over that direction. And maybe I'll come down here and show you guys the what I discovered down here as well, since I haven't shown that on camera yet. So maybe we'll head out. We'll go south along this arc, then we'll go east. We'll go through the melting isles. I'll stop at the college, maybe ferry a passenger up to Gators Morn, because it's an easy way to make a little bit of money, or maybe not. That's kind of out of the way. You need a recent news, or the one time I stopped here. In order to go in, you need a recent news or a port report from the Iron Republic, which you don't want to get. The one time I got a port report from them, I had a permanent reduction in my hearts, which I was not happy about. So, so we'll take our recent news down there, and hopefully they'll let us in this time. So maybe we'll swing down here. Maybe we won't take a passenger. We'll just head there. So I'm going to need to make sure that I have lots of fuel and lots of supplies. So I still have a fair bit of money. Should have plenty of money to outfit my expedition. So let's get sure 22 fuel and 20 supplies. That's way more than I've ever taken before, and I still have a good amount of cargo space left. I'm running a little low on money, so maybe I'll leave it there. Keep some money just in case I need some for emergencies. I did, by the way, manage to obtain 2 heirlooms to go with my for my scion if and when I eventually die. All right, so let's launch the Enigma. We've christened her, we've wished her well, and now we'll see how she does on the open Z. And indeed, she seems to be sailing pretty much the same speed as my old ship. So I think that much is true. She's a little bigger, so maybe it looks like she's going a little bit slower, but I'm pretty sure she's sailing at pretty much the same speed as my old ship. And when I go to battle, I have deck weapon at 1, forward weapon at 2, and axe weapon at 3. And the cones, you can see the firing cones for all 3. So I won't stop at the light ship. Let's see. Let me just double check. I did bring recent news, didn't I? Yeah, I do have some. Okay. So there's often a pirate steam pinnace here in this general area. I'll turn the light back on. Actually, turn it off, just in case I see one. And there it is. So it sees us. I'm going to turn my light on. And with by firing 2 shots and then using the blue scintillic and firing 2 more shots, we ought to be able to bring down quite a bit just on our first shot. 5 more supplies. Alright, well, I think we can leave you be. The other thing about getting... so there's 2 reasons not to get a more powerful engine. The first and most important one is it consumes a lot more fuel. And it doesn't increase your speed that much. But it does increase your speed, but not a ton. So, as a result, you wind up having to take a lot more fuel. Now, you make up for a little bit in the fact that you have to take less supplies because you're going faster. But at the same time, the other reason comes into play, which is that you have to wait for this thing to appear before you land. And right now, I find this thing appearing like right before I get to my next port on my usual route. If I was going any faster, I'd wind up just having to hang out outside the port for this thing to come on anyway. So I'm not sure that I'd be saving that much time. Alright, as we steam into the Iron and Misery Company funging station, let's see, what's our terror at? My terror is at 4, so we could have tea with the factor. Well, we'll definitely compile a port report. I'm actually going to do none of these things, and the reason why is that instead of doing those, I'm going to save my lantern for the sisters down here, because sometimes you can get a strange catch from them, and I'd like to start accumulating those. I found out when I had dinner with my chef that he's trying to perfect the perfect cuisine, and he needs live specimens and strange catches in order to do that. So I'm not going to sell any supplies now, but I am going to watch the Covenant. And they did not get a strange catch, so it's unfortunate. Oh, I can ask there to arrange the adventurer's death. She wants to die gloriously. They look like the kind of people who can help. Sure. We won't fight you, not to the death. Not to the death? That's not really us. But we can bring you something that will end you, an old adversary of ours. Be sure that it will end you, but fight hard and you might wound it. That wound will remain as long as it does, which may be forever, and one day it may take that wound into the sky. Sound good? We'll need something to lure him. Bring us, appropriate texts. Yes, I'm serious. Bring 5 units of romantic literature to Abbey Rock. You can find it at the Connates. Okay? You know what? That reminds me. I need to bring some coffee to the Connate, and they sell it here considerably cheaper than they do at Fallen London. So I might stop there, make a little detour, since I'm planning on going to the Connate on this journey anyway, and buy some coffee. And if I can't trade it into the Connate, I can always sell it in Fallen London. It's quite valuable. So there's usually some, there's a Z-monster flying around here. That's why I've come around this side of the island now, because there's a Z-monster that's always hanging out there that I don't like to fight unless I can avoid it. Of course, now with my new ship, it might be worth trying. It's going to pop up any second now. There it is. Okay. Almost. Bam! Wow. That's pretty ridiculous. Strange catch? Yeah, strange catch. Awesome. So we'll make our way down here to the Shepherd Isles. Shepherd Isles is great. It's 3 stories. If you choose the 3 graves option, you always get 2 stories. If you bring them supplies and wine, you can get a strategic information here, but it's usually not worth the cost. Unless sometimes if you already have a strategic information and you just need one more to make a vital intelligence, then sometimes I'll do it. But that's this option. But most of the time I just do this. And you either get a Tale of Terror and a Z story or a Memory of Distant Stores and a Z story. And we got a Tale of Terror and a Z story, which is fine. Okay. Oh. Almost forgot we got to compile a port report. Okay. Alright, so now we're going to head south. I realize this is a lot of the same stuff that I showed you in the last episode, but rest assured we'll be getting to the new stuff soon enough. And since we're on our way to the colony to pick up some coffee, we might as well stop by the Fathom King on the way. So there's usually one of those albino monkeys hanging out here. I've never tried to fight one with my old ship. Maybe I'll wait till the journey. Well, it's in the fog, albino moray. No, I'll let it be. If it wasn't in the fog, I think I would give it a shot. Because the ship is just so much more powerful. But since it's in the fog, I won't. Alright, so Fathom King allows you to trade a story for something good. Sometimes it's better than others, but you always get something good. So we traded a story, and this gives us a story back plus a bunch of fragments, which is not one of the better options, but it's still okay. It's like we basically got 20 free fragments, which is not great, but they add up over time if you come here a lot, which I do. Okay. Okay, now we have this thing. I don't think I want to fight this Lorn Fluke. It has 600 hit points. Not at the beginning of my voyage. Maybe I'll come back here sometime in the future and fight it. That might be the next episode. I really want to do like a new voyage of discovery on this episode. But next episode, maybe I'll come back and fight the Lorn Fluke. See how well we do in our new ship. I'm really liking that forward weapon slot combination with the rest of our weapons. This is new. I have never seen these vortexes before. I wonder if they are from the new stories that I downloaded. Because they have never been here on any of my previous voyages. I'll have to sail around them. I'm glad I finished my money first, if that's the case, because it would have made going to these colonies a lot more annoying. What is this? Blue Prophets. They have 500 hit points. They don't seem to be doing any damage. Okay, they just did 15 points. I can hit them with my aft weapon. If it ever finishes charging. But I don't think I want to fight them. Let's just dock. Now if I leave, they should go away. Yeah, they're going away. Never seen those things before either. Alright, yeah, they did a lot of damage. Okay, so we're going to... So this is... I could change this, but I don't want to. We could try picking up 75% chance. I could also do this, but I have to have a vital intelligence first. Let's go ahead and see if we can pick up a vital intelligence. We succeeded. Okay, so we picked up a vital intelligence, a Z story, but we lost one of our networks. But that's okay. Okay, we can't repair our ship here except manually with supplies, which I will consider. Let's go ahead and pick up a lot of fuel, but fuel is relatively cheap here. Let's go ahead and pick up a couple more fuel. And then let's pick up some coffee. Maybe 20 coffee. We still have some cargo space left. Sure. Okay. Alright, should I fight these things? They seem pretty powerful. Maybe I won't fight them just yet. This is new too. Wow, they really redid this southern part of the ocean here. They made it a lot harder to get here. Can I click on this? There they are. Alright, well, we'll see what we can do against these things. More of a war of attrition than I would like. But I think we will win. 100. Oh, come on. Got him. They took 100 points off our haul. A mortal battle against Parrots. That's the Elder Continent for you. Record their cries. The prophets speak the names of those about to die. In truth, most of the sounds they make are more squawk than word, but perhaps you can glean something from the dying birds if you listen carefully. Or I can recover feathers from the prophets. They'll sun in London and Khan's heart. Sure, let's recover feathers. 37 royal blue feathers. That's a lot of feathers. But they'd have to... Hopefully they'll sell for enough to cover my repair costs when I have to put my ship in dry dock when I get back to London. So it's a good thing I didn't fight those with my old tramp steamer. I would have died. But that's why I got the new ship. Sure, let's make a detour up to the Mangrove College. Did I forget to get a port report in Port Carnelian? Oh well, if I did, I did. Another thing I learned is that your crew don't start dying until your ship is down to less than half health. So we've still got a ways to go. That's 225 for us. So we have another 105 hit points. We have more hull damage to take before our crew starts dying now than our old ship had in total. There's a bunch more of those blue prophets. Don't really want to fight them. Maybe I'll turn my light off and hope that they don't see me. There's often a pirate ship around here. We'll go up and see if we can spot him. I don't see him. He may be gone. He may just be so far away that we didn't run across him. That's okay. Alright. So we always get a shady sort. I think it's because of the way that we handled the first vendor bite mission. How's our terror? Terror's pretty good. Let's go beachcombing. You can find some good stuff beachcombing. One time I found a judgment egg, which when I traded it in the colony to improve my network, it would netted me 3 vital intelligences. It was really, really good. With these 3 choices, I like the driftwood choice. 20 fragments. Sometimes you get an artifact that if you collect 10 of them, you can turn them into an heirloom. Alright, compile a port report for free supplies. Alright, and then let's head out. So we're going to go down to take our recent news down to Adam's Way down here. And hopefully we won't run into any more of those parrot things. 1 was enough. There's something down there. What is it? Some sort of glowing underwater Z monster. And a light ship that I had not discovered. I could buy some more fuel. Should I? Maybe I'll buy 1 more. And a bunch more of those parrots, which I'm not happy to see. So we're not going to do that. Okay. I'd like to clear out that those last blank spaces on my map, so maybe we'll try and sneak in between the Z monster and the parrots here. I don't know what that is under the water, but I don't think I want to find out right now. I gotta remember my Veil stat is lowered a little bit by this ship. Not quite as high as I'm used to. It's still pretty good though. Looks like we're safely past both. I'll turn my light back on. Reduce my terror a little bit. We discovered Gardener's Rock. Carmine tint to the waves. We're approaching Adam's Way where flows the mountain's blood. Okay, so I wonder if this is Mount Palmerston that I've heard so much about. I've heard that mountain mentioned like in 3 or 4 different places in the story, including I think the shady character who gives you supplies at the docks wants you to travel there, but I've never yet found it. Okay, so let's dock here. Alright, so all ships that approach Adam's Way are intercepted by the Gracious. Presbyterites, splendidly head-dressed coast guards. So these are the people that are after my officer. A quaint but inviolable tradition governs entry. You must tell them one of 3 stories. In return, you will be permitted to spend a single day in the port. Okay, so we'll give them news from London. A new day. And is their interest strategic, or do they just enjoy hearing about London's miseries? Regardless, they permit you to dock. The day has just begun. In the town square, a yellow-robed priestess plants a seed in a bed of black soil. No sooner has she patted down the soil than a tiny shoot pokes forth. By mid-morning it will be a sapling, and by lunchtime a budding tree. By evening's end it will wither and fall. You must be back on your ship before then. The tree of a single day is a hopeful green sapling, green and budding. Okay. To the south, the Elder Continent and the 72 Cornopian kingdoms of the Presbyterite. Are the stories true? Rivers of honey, castles of ivory? Who can say? Foreigners, that's you, are forbidden from the interior. The closest most get is Adam's Way, a shouting, feasting, thieving riot of a port. The options available may change as the day progresses. You can visit an exhibition of Presbyterite curiosities. For the insignificant price of a single echo, the sober showman will lay the wonders of the Elder Continent directly at your feet. Okay. Assist at an animescence hospital. It stands apart from the port on a lonely seaside bluff. Listen to a storyteller. Ignore the gaudy entertainments intended to defraud visitors. Pass the street hawkers. They will only tell you what you want to hear. Shun the tavern gossip, most of which is fabricated by the Murren office, the presser's propaganda. Okay. So this will give me a port report, I think. An Aventure broker has a commission. Okay, I can't do that yet. Sit by the tree of a single day. Let the hours pass. Alright, well, let's listen to a storyteller. Climb the stairs cut into the hill. Sit at the foot of a bee-capped stone columns. They will shield you from the southern mountain heat. Be quiet. Listen. Old storytellers to share the shadow. The Prester is on the verge of declaring the Dawn Machine a blasphemy. London's bureaucracy is riddled with the children of the Thief of Faces. An expedition of foreigners recently put to shore to the west, then went south in search of the garden. They were discovered and given to the Red River. Alright. I have a port report. His client has a task of modest but scriptural significance. He is conducting interview. Or I can catch a nut that falls from the tree of a single day. Let's listen to the commission. To the south, the Elder Continent and the 72 cornucopian kingdoms of the Presbyterite. Are the stories true? Rivers of... Oh, I already read that. Let's see. I trust you don't mind answering a few questions, he asked, open up his notebook, to ensure we're on the same page, so to speak. The interview is scandalously personal. What business has he to ask such things? So I can answer truthfully, even though it means giving up a secret, or I can depart ability, or I can lie to him. Alright, let's give up a secret and see what he wants. An unexpected tactic. He blinks in surprise. Goodness, I must admit, I expected you to lie. Never mind, knowing you as well as I do now. He studies his notebook, too embarrassed to meet your eye. I think we can do business. You may accept the broker's commission in Adam's Way. I lost one secret. He has a commission for me. So I can accept his commission. He orders, tell me, what do you know of the disciples of the Thief of Faces? Okay, let's try it. Doing the Prester's work. Or sniffers to children and Londoners. Awful creatures. Eat candles. Steal facings. Erasing them is a sacrament. An associate of mine recently found one in Port Carnelian. But before he could expose it, he disappeared. Maybe the snuffer got him. Or maybe perhaps one of the port's spies. The place is stuffed with them. Yes, I know. I put many of them there myself. Your commission is to root out Port Carnelian's snuffer. Capture it, bring it back here. I'd like to ask it a question or two. He wants me to catch the snuffer in Port Carnelian. Okay, so now I can visit an exhibition, assist at a hospital, or try and catch a nut. I'm going to try and catch a nut. I have to do it now, so let's try it. The branch is too far, the nut too small, your hand too slow. When it strikes the paved square, the nut bursts into brief, pointless lights. Thread-like roots squirm out, groping for water. Desperate roots claw at a crack in the stone. It's no good. Its strength spent. Shoot browns and siphons. I have a lamentable relic. It says all of us one day, but let's not be in a tearing hurry about it. Alright, well, that didn't work. I can attend a funeral feast. Public square, a gathering of the bereaved, uncannily cheerful. A table shining with cutlery. I still would like to do that. Is it an exhibition or a sale? Let's go to the feast. I can do this next time. You move closer for a better look. The replete occupy lofty positions in the Presbyteriane's military. Despite their sanguinary past, they dine with the Prester and send their children to be educated at London's university. However, they maintain their tradition of eating their dead. The feasts are held in public. Here in Broad Square stretches a splendid table. The departed was only a distant relative, some great aunt or second cousin, and the atmosphere is jolly. Servants carry the deceased over in steaming joints, cooked to perfect pinkness. A stately mourner stands already wobbly from wine. Shall I carve? So I can observe. I can't do this because I don't have unaccountably peckish. Send the sacrament. Yes, sit here by me. Our poor Arthenex was a fine scholar. Leg of breast, by the way, so this would increase my pages. But I can't do that. Or I can steal scraps from the table. Let's try this. Your prize. Oh, did I succeed or fail? I succeeded. Oh, now I have unaccountably peckish. Your darting lunge seizes you a bone clung with stringy tatters of flesh. You hide it under your jacket and return to your cabin, where you hold a meager feast of your own. The meat is unremarkable. When it is gone, you crack the bone open to get at the marrow. You force it all down, every mealy scrap. Was there any virtue in it? Are you changed? Well, I'm now unaccountably peckish, because I have the cannibal trait. I wasn't sure if that would happen, but that's what had happened. Alright, I return to my ship. The gracious comb the streets, ushering visitors politely back to the dock. Alright, I don't have a port report or an unread log, so I have to leave. So I gained a task and unaccountably peckish. I can live with that. I don't think I'll try and sail up in there. But let's head a little bit further east and see what we can find along the coast. So far, it's eerily silent. Point Livingston. How much more coast do we have? Quite a bit. Quite a bit. It's one of those jellyfish. They have 400 hit points too. Those are the things that I'm used to encountering down here. Not so much these parrots. Don't really want to fight that thing. Looks like there's something down here. Oh, there's another harbor. Varchus. Or Varchus. I think it's Varchus. Port Erdomez. And enough fragments to get a new secret. The Murren City, where light was always the law, the burning white light of Varchus. The walled city of Varchus is a tangle of green vines and luminescent fungal flowers, slow blooming around moldering stones. Quincux of carved step towers rise over the walls and pour burning white light into the bleak sky. A rough shadowed path leads from the docks to the mirrored gates of Varchus. Two towering carved stone lamps throw their light on the angled mirrors, and the blue-cloaked guard stands in the reflected pool of light. The city is a beacon against the tree-hushed, sprawling darkness of the elder continent. In the far distance, a vast mountain glimmers. Choke on the smell. It's overpowering sweet. It comes from the fungus growing wild over the city stones. The sailors wave you over. They are sitting on some upturned crates at the docks playing a game with mirrored ships and stylized snakes made of bone. Ask the guard a few questions. Never a bad idea to gather a little intelligence before heading into unknown waters. Or cities, as the case may be. Tell the guards you wish to enter. Well, what else are gates for if not to go through? Compile a port report. The Admiralty will want to know. Well, let's start by doing that. Tone down the details of the light and its brilliance. You don't want to inspire envy in the Admiralty staff. Okay. Let's ask the guards a few questions. The blue coat guard only acknowledges your existence when you step out of the darkness of the path and into the light from the lamps. The guard stands in the middle of the pool of light, looking warily at the darkness beyond you. Up close, the guard's blue cloak is threadbare and mossy along the hem. A pattern of embroidered suns runs along the collar, but the gold thread is dull. The kohl around her eyes is smudged. "Well, Tomas," she asked, "are you going to ask your questions, or are you just going to stare?" Her tone is brisk, but her expression is curiously eager. You do not think Varchas receives many visitors. Your name is not Tomas, correct her lightly. Ask about the light. Ask about her. Ask about the city's customs. Let's start by asking about the city's customs. Best to know them before you flaunt them. Easier to plan an escape route that way. The guard stands in the... let's see. "Don't touch the mirrors. Don't even look into the mirrors," she says, her voice hard. "And try very hard not to dream." Were you expecting something along the lines of "don't murder anyone, or only wear red on special occasions"? Still, you nod and smile. Alright, tell her your name is not Tomas. The guard looks scandalized and tries to stop her ears. "All those who are not Varchasi are Tomas. You have been touched by darkness and it has taken your name." She fixes you with an admonishing look and adds, "It is very ill-mannered to pretend you still have one." You begin to see a little why Varchas is not often visited. It looks like you will have to get used to being called Tomas if you enter. Ask about the light. "We must always walk in Mihir's light, so we burn our lamps at night and day to banish darkness from the mirrored city," she tells you proudly. "If we let darkness corrupt us, we would not be Varchasi any longer, but Tomas, like you." You wonder, is that so terrible a fate? Her mocking laugh answers you before her words do. "Yes, it would be terrible indeed, Tomas, and before you ask," she adds, "no, I do not have any desire to leave Varchas. The rest of the Neath has fallen from Mihir's grace, and I have no wish to join them." Ask about her. "It is a great honor to guard the mirrored gates," she snaps defensively. She gestures to the edge of the pool of light illuminating her post. "It is very dangerous. Even a small stumble and I could fall into the dark." Her voice goes thready. "I would be banished from Mihir's grace. I would lose my name. That is why they only send the bravest outside the walls." Alright, I have no more questions. She looks disappointed but does not try to engage you further. Alright, let's do this. "You're not thinking of going in there," the sailors gawk at you in unconcealed horror. They take turns telling you the gruesome stories of the Varchas, which they no doubt invented whole cloth. Some are convinced that the Varchasi render sailors into tallow to light their city. Others say they steal shadows and sell them to their masters. All of them are convinced that they blind any strangers who dare gaze too long upon their city's secrets. "We're just waiting to be paid, and then we're off," one of the sailors says, nervously fingering a mirror chip. "I only got one eye left, but I'd like to keep it." Alright, well, we're obviously going to enter. She makes a mark in her ledger before ringing a brass bell. The mirrors of the gates rearrange themselves to give you space to pass, but never once allow shadow to touch the guard. "Our ways are not yours, Tomas. Remember that, and walk in the light of Mihir." Inside the city walls, your eyes are blinded by the brilliance of the light. The verdant rot smell is even thicker. The heat of so much flame and reflected light presses oppressively against your skin. Your head pounds. It is a few minutes before your eyes adjust and you can look around. Brass lamps and gilded sconces hang from every wall, and phosphorescent fungus grows moss-like upon doorways and ceilings. Cunningly arranged mirrors catch every droplet of light and diffuse it until each cobblestone and rampart of the city is drenched and blazing and utterly without shadow. Who do you speak to? The firekeeper, dressed all in saffron, a pair of thick fireproof gloves dangle from a silver chain at her wrist. Okay, the white-cloaked guard. The suns embroidered on his cloak are picked out with a gold thread and the edges jeweled in carnelian. The fungus carter. Her carters piled high with fungal blooms and jars of algae painstakingly scraped from the surfaces of the wall. The jewel-turbaned youth. He is winking at you. That it a furtive wink or a flirtatious one. Only one way to find out. Continue your explorations. Time to venture further than the outer district. Alright, I'm curious. The jewel-turbaned youth. He looks overly overjoyed to make your acquaintance, the bangles on his wrist flashing as he presses his hands together in greeting. My friends and I would be honored if you would attend a small gathering with us, Tomas. We're so eager to hear about the world outside Varchas's city walls. It seems an innocuous enough invitation, but then why does his gaze dart around so anxiously as he tells you how to find his mansion in the Eastern District? Okay. Let's continue. The mirrored gates, the city gleams inviting you. Get used to the smell in time. There's so much to explore. Where will you see next? Interesting. Let's go check out what the determined youth wanted. Well, he did invite you after all. You're not entirely sure what you were expecting from a jewel-turbaned youth's invitation. Perhaps a candlelit dinner and a genteel seduction? It turns out to be an evening of card games and chilled wine with his rather eclectic collection of friends. But as the wine is drunk and the cards are played, a gathering takes place on a certain political tone. A raggedly dressed artisan begins complaining about the Ognihortrees trade restriction. A novice priest points out contradictions in Mahir's mantras. A stone carver questions whether his daughter should also have to follow in the same profession. Will you, the jewel-turbaned youth stares at you, will you tell us a story? Decline firmly. It's not wise to become involved in politics. Tell them of yourself. Might be nice to be honest. Return to the city gates. Invent a fanciful tale. It's practically a sailor's profession. Tell a wanderer's tale. Let's try this. See if I succeeded. I succeeded. Your crew would have enjoyed this tale and probably added their own asides and embellishments. Still, you couldn't have helped for a more appreciative audience. They gasp and moan and shudder guiltily as your story comes to a climax. Afterwards, a jewel-turbaned youth takes you by the hand. His own is shaking and his sin is clammy. We are forbidden from the trickery of storytelling in Varchas, he tells you hoarsely. I've never heard anything so sublime. The first tower bell is sounded. I gained a searing enigma. Awesome. And I have 2 of the youth's invitation. Okay, so that checks off that. Well, I need the dour-faced nurse's approval. Let's try the hospital. Are you feeling a little fever? Do you hope to learn medical secrets? Or perhaps you just enjoy the moans and flushed faces of the sick and suffering? The fungal infections ward. They keep it cool and closed off. The doctors and nurses all wear masks when they enter. How bad could a fungal infection be? The mirrorless room. The ward is locked several times over, and the dour-faced nurse looks uncomfortable when you mention it. The open ward. You see patients sprawled on their beds, playing card games and chatting to visitors. Most of them have minor injuries. Offer the services of the brisk campaigner. You've won her trust. She's prepared to come ashore. Offer the services of the haunted doctor. Offer your services. Let's offer the services of the brisk campaigner. Dour-faced nurse watches you carefully as you assist the campaigner in cleaning wounds and changing bandages. She gives you a satisfied nod. The guards are pleased to have a new attendant and call you Nurse Tomas with a warm, welcoming mockery, which makes you feel like part of their crew. They try the same thing with the campaigner, but only very briefly. You see the campaigner and the nurse exchange a glance of challenging, cordial respect. Good work, the dour-faced... Good work, the dour-faced nurse says at the end of your shift, handing you each a cup of steaming mushroom tea. It relieves you greatly. Do you detect a hint of tree sap liquor at the bottom of the cup? And something else, something of the south. Oh, I gain an iron, a hearts, 5 mirrors, and 5 fragments. And then the approval, and 1 memory of distant shores, and I lost 1 terror. Awesome. Welcome. Okay. I know I had to get the approval of the guard, so let's talk to the white-cloaked guard. Tomas, he presses his hands together in greeting and then gives you an anguished look. You look terrible. Are you sick with a terrible outsider disease? Or is that what your nose is naturally like? Over your protestations, he gives you directions to the hospital. Oh, the medics are all butchers, to be sure, but they walk in the light of Mahir, he adds breezily. Okay, I kind of already went to the hospital, so that seems kind of worthless. Let's continue. So I have 2 of these. I need the respect of the guard, the Agatori's interest. Alright, let's go to the guardhouse. A modest stone building with bas-relief lintels and wide, unshuttered windows. The stylized sun of Mahir flutters from a silk flag above the patio. It is a scene of controlled chaos. You can see the white-cloaked guards bustling to and fro within, shouting companionably to each other, while a stream of fungus carters, merchants, and ordinary citizens petition them. Stream of smoke. Can't do that. Oh, because I don't have that. Hint at the Jules Urban Youth activities. You can leave out the bit where you told the gathering a forbidden story and glide over naming any particular bits. Or I can train with the guards. Alright, let's try this. The surgeon does not object when you slip back into line, but he doesn't treat you with any particular gentleness either. You practice hand-to-hand combat for a few hours and end up on your back more often than not. They fight in an unfamiliar, light-footed style. A few of the more advanced recruits duel with curving, twin-bladed scimitars. Interesting, the surgeon grunts at the end of your session. You are bruised and possibly concussed, but quite satisfied with your morning, and you think they might have learned something in return. I gained 2 iron. I succeeded in an iron challenge. And I have the respect of the guard. Return to the city center. Alright, now I just need the Horty's interest. I guess I probably go to the Temple of Mahir to get that. You walk the gallered courtyards, wreathed in vines and fungal blooms. Long straight roadways crisscross the length and breadth of the Varchas, and stone worn by the wheels of carts and tread of thousands of slippered feet. Lamplighters constantly check the fuel levels of the sconces and replace wicks. The firekeepers check the coiled spring mechanisms that control the angle of the mirrors. There is so much to explore. Where will you go next? It lies the Temple of Mahir. Okay. Temple of the Tower pierces the city's heart. Taller than the other 4 towers which stand at each of the cardinal points. Around the temple sprawls the sacred district, vine-covered stone shrines, still ponds glowing with algae and flash-finned carp, priests in white, their wrists heavy with metal chains. There are no mirrors in the Temple of Mahir. The rest of the city has to make do with mirrored light and reflection, but Mahir's most sacred place is filled with hundreds of lamps and lit candles of hard-packed phosphorescent fungus. So I can listen to the mantras. The bas-reliefs. Oh, here we go. This is probably what I need. Varchasi is equivalent to a king or governor. He is overseeing the rituals and gives you a slanted glance. Oh, I could sell them this. Not going to do that. let's see. I could... Oh, I have a lamentable relic. Interesting. I would kind of like to do that, but I want to do this first. Did I succeed? I succeeded. You go to pay your respects, and he is at pains to impress upon you that he is no despot or tyrant prince, but rather rules Varchus with his council of sunseers and firekeepers. What do you think of Varchus so far, Tomas? I can switch to that like this. What do you think of Varchus so far, Tomas? He asks, and you know better than to mutter anything but meaningless platitudes in response. He nods as though satisfied, but you catch him giving you a sharp, speculative looks as you wander the temple. It seems you have aroused his interest. Okay, I gained 1 Veils, and I have his interest. But I can't go on the pilgrimage because it's too late. Okay, so let's... Oh, maybe I can. I can. I see the sick are ready to begin their long journey. The young and restless have made their plans. The swords of the guards have been renewed. The pilgrimage is ready to begin. Alright, let's try it. It seems as though half the city has joined the pilgrimage to the Mountain of Light. The other half lines the streets and hangs out from the upper story windows to watch their friends and loved ones depart. Musicians play stirring tunes on polished brass instruments and little calabash lyres, all undercut with the rhythmic sound of drums. A towering machine is piled high with fungus is wheeled to the front of the procession. The drivers sit in a lamplit cabin at the front, their faces grim. An Arthenex raises his hand, and a hush falls over all of Varchus. The mirrored gates slide open, and rays of light reflecting jaggedly. Outside, the Elder Continent is dark and hushed and vast. You have the dizzying feeling that it is vaster and onyx blacker than the Untersee somehow. But that cannot be. Wish us luck, Tomas. The Agahari is next to you. At the very front of the procession, his aging face looks suddenly youthful and taunt. His eyes glimmer with purpose. You can only nod weakly. The Arthenex laughs wildly and shouts in command, and the machine rumbles out the city gates. It lays down 2 thick rows of fungus to either side of it, and the lamplighters dart to the very edge of the darkness and light the fungus with their torches. It blazes up, illuminating the path inland in brilliant white, rot-scented light. The people of Varchus cheer so loudly you think your eardrums will burst. The pilgrims seem slowly out of the city in a glimmering procession, leaving it half empty behind them. I gained a secret and a memory. Time to leave. You know when to leave. Besides, your crew is probably growing restless. The atmosphere in Varchus is deflated, melancholy after the pilgrims depart. That's all for now. Returning to Elstress yet. Okay, yeah. Alright, so time to leave. That's fine. We'll check back later. And speaking of time to leave, I've gone about halfway through this journey, and I looked at the clock, and I think it's about time to wrap up this episode. So, I realize I don't usually wrap up an episode halfway through a journey, but I think that's what I'm going to do. So we will pick this up again next time. If you enjoyed watching it, please consider liking the video or subscribing to the channel, and have a terrific day.